please say aye if you're here when I call your name. Just a second. Okay, Holly Bem.
Aye.
David Blumey. Absent. Aaron.
Here.
Smith. Present. Craig McCormack.
Here.
I saw you sneak in.
Yep.
Alan Needham.
Here.
William Rice. Here. Richard Cortez.
Here.
Julie Eaton.
Here.
And Sean Glenn. I'm going to mark Sean as absent. Okay. So we have one full-time member not in attendance. That opens up promotion of one of the alternate members. So this time it's going to be Rich Cortez. Julie, you did it last time.
Bill, I don't know if it matters for the meeting, but I can't see Holly.
I think
That's weird.
if she talks, you might see her.
No, you know what I get? I get a icon of a telephone.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Oh, I see. I see you, Holly. I see both. I see the telephone, but I also see you.
Yeah, so do I.
As long as we're here, I get
over the telephone.
Yeah, she's on the telephone.
Oh, you know what, guys? If you click on the gallery view, you can see everybody, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. But Holly's still dialed in, so
He's right.
she shows up as the phone. All right, good. So, Rich, do you accept the promotion to regular member status for tonight?
Gladly. Thank you.
You okay? Moving on to the next order of business. Approval of the minutes of the Tuesday, March 10th, 2020 meeting. Alan, are you prepared to lead us through that?
I am.
Okay.
So for March 10, 2020, let's hear any additions, corrections for page 1. I've got one right off the bat, and that is Rich Cortez. His last name is spelled C-O-R-T-E-S.
Yep.
I saw that appear on line 20 and 28. I don't know if it appears elsewhere. I didn't see it. You aware of that, Rich? Is it anywhere else besides those two spots?
I didn't see it anywhere else.
Okay. If we could correct that and for future minutes as well. Anything else on page 1?
Line
No, but
43.
I think we lost Mr. McCormack.
Yeah, he'll come back in.
Yeah.
Line 43 says Holmes, comma, to also effect. It should be affect, A.
Okay, agreed.
True. Good one. Anything else on page 1? Page 2?
Nope, nothing for me.
Didn't hear anything. So last page, page 3, starting with line 99.
I think we have a typo on Holly's last name. It should be B-E-U-M instead of B-E-A-M.
Thank you.
And I need to back you up when you're done with that one.
Yep, go ahead.
On the second page, line 78, it says policies. It should say policy and affordable housing policy,
Okay.
unless it was meant to be plural, in which case the prior part should be changed.
No, we have reviewed several policies, but we're only going to create one for the town.
Looks like that's it. Bill, you want a motion?
Yeah, I move to accept the minutes of the March 10th, 2020 meeting with the noted corrections.
Second.
You can call the question, Al.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Very good. Thank you.
Hey, Bill, for the record, I abstained. I wasn't at the meeting, so.
Oh, okay. Craig McCormack, abstention. Very good. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have a couple of referrals that have come to the commission. Mike, do you want to take these in any particular order or as they're shown in the agenda?
Why don't we just follow the agenda? Because
Okay.
the first one is pretty simple.
Okay. First one here is application number, and this is a zoning application, of course, number 20-04, Lewis Case applicant, Suzanne Midica trustee, and the estate of Wesley Case owners for a zone change from I-1 to R-15 for the premises located at 32 and 34 Hoskins Road, zone I-1. All right, Mike, why don't you just walk us through this a little bit?
All right, I'm gonna share the map, the proposed map, with everyone right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, it was coming up.
Got it. There we go. So the property in questions are these two lots right here. One has a home on it, the other is a vacant lot. These lots, along with this larger one over here, are all zoned industrial right now. The house, obviously, it's not, the residential use is non-conforming in the industrial zoning district. What they're looking to do is these properties off to the west are zoned R15, and basically just moving this line R15 over to these two properties. One, this would create the residential use of 34 Hoskins as conforming, and two, they want to sell this lot for a residential building lot, so therefore this would also make this thing non-conforming for residential use. Otherwise, from an industrial perspective, it's less than an acre. It has very limited use from an industrial standpoint.
So they want to sell both 32 and 34, right? The existing house
no,
of
just
34?
one. Just one, but so in order to move the zoning line district over to, this is the one that they wanted to rezone, they had to rezone this property too, because you couldn't.
Hey, Mike, I can't see what you're pointing
I
to.
don't see any pointing. So just
Oh,
give
I'm
me
sorry. So
number.
in order to rezone 32 Hoskins,
Yeah.
they had to also rezone 34 Hoskins because they had to move the line over. You couldn't just rezone 32 without moving the residential zoning district line through 34. So that would limit the two. So
You're still there, Mike?
I don't hear
Michael?
that's 34. And then 32 is just to the right of that parcel.
You dropped out there for about 15 seconds. I'm not sure if you said something important.
It just bearings on where the house is for 34 and the vacant parcel at 32.
Oh, there's the house.
Now, did I see something? Let me see.
Wow, such a strange.
this.
It looked like, no, okay.
So Mike, just out of curiosity, if that state I-1, could that turn into a PAD?
No.
Not big enough?
We need 10 acre. Hold on a second. That's a good question, Alan. I believe it needs 10 acres, but just hold on a second. Let me confirm that.
Yeah, I think there's something with his connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would need 10 acres.
Okay. All right. So, okay.
So no, it couldn't be a pad.
That's a good question, Alan.
Yeah. All the more reason to like the zone change.
There was one of the attachments here that caught my eye. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly. It was part. I think it was part. It was It was actually. It doesn't have an exhibit number on it, but it was a like a 2-page thing written by Lewis Case that has a little red line that looks like to be almost parallel to the rear property lines of the existing lots to the west. And okay, the red line on the map below on 34 Hoskins indicates the split of the 34 Hoskins property, with the front half acre becoming the lot for the residents at 34 Hoskins, and the remaining 1.1 acre rear portion being sold to the 32 Hoskins property. So it's going to end up looking like a
Backwards P.
yeah, like a backwards P, exactly.
So I'm confused now. The existing house is on 34.
Yep.
That's
and there's
correct.
no house on 32.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, I'm confused. So it's zoned for industrial, though?
Yep.
Well, the
So
house,
this
What was it?
area along with where Cambridge Crossing is being constructed right now, this is all zoned industrial. That dates back to the Garrity sand pit. So this whole it's a very odd like remnants of older building from the 70s, 60s of the industrial use. Really doesn't fit with the surrounding residential homes that developed along Hoskins.
Right.
But there's two things going on. There's a zone change and then property line movements. Let me share my screen here. Hold on a second. It's Exhibit 4 of the application.
Yeah. In order for that property exchange to occur, that red line, they need to change the zoning district, because the industrial zoning district requires a minimum of 10 acres, along with prohibiting residential uses.
so, Mike, just so I'm clear on this, I'm a little confused. So somebody named Case owns number 34? Do they also own 32?
It's the same family.
It's two different owners.
So Suzanne Middicka is a trustee for the Middicka Family Trust. That's really a Case?
Yep.
Okay. That's not important. I just was confused by the different name.
Yeah. I don't know the relation between her and Lewis, but they are related. She's a Case.
Okay.
So, Mike, is this going to be a subdivision? Mike, you there?
She's Lewis's sister.
All right. Did you hear my question, Mike? This cut line here, that's going to be a subdivision.
No, it would be a lot line adjustment if they deeded over to 32. They wouldn't be creating another lot. Because they couldn't create a lot without frontage.
Right.
Okay.
So they'd create a larger lot for 32, but they couldn't get squeeze another building lot over there. There's not enough frontage, even with the R15 standards.
Right, so I'm not even about to try to guess at their motivation.
Yeah, I wondered too.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what the,
But it
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
that's kind of a strange.
Yeah. I would say I'd be in favor of the zone change if we restrict lot 32 to affordable housing. I say that tongue in cheek, okay? But that would be in the spirit of the POCD with offering a variety of housing alternatives.
But why do you say it's tongue-in-cheek if you're suggesting it?
Yeah, I might make that a recommendation.
Well, so the family wants to sell 32 and increase its size while they're at it, right?
That's what it
Want to
sounds
sell
like.
it to somebody that'll build a house there?
Right, but what else can you do with that land, you know?
I don't know what else you could do with it. You can't.
How
Yeah,
many
'cause
acres?
what's the acreage of the new lot?
It would be, okay, so
Couple of acres?
it'd be about 1.1 plus a half, so 1.61 acres.
Yeah.
I don't know about pushing the idea of affordable housing. I like affordable housing too, but I don't know why we're foisting it on this family to.
Mhm.
Good point.
Well, this isn't a project.
Well, then the other alternative is we can say that this application, you know, doesn't really have anything to do with the POCD.
Then it's not. Then it's not opposed to it.
Right.
Okay.
But it's not in favor of it either.
Wow.
So, Mike, you know, I had sent you an email about this earlier, or it was later last week, I guess, and I did put in my request. You know, I'd be curious to know what the current property owners felt as far as this zone change being compliant with the POC, or not compliant. You know, in concert with the POCD. Did you get a chance to ask them or anything like that?
Well, one would be is just eliminating this sliver of industrial land that's really in a residential neighborhood. It would be preserving the character of the residential neighborhood. The other is just the whole issue of eliminating a nonconformity that the residential use on the existing industrial property. It really just bears the best possible use of the property is what they're doing for 34, which is a single family home.
Mhm.
So that's really what they said for, you know, community character, neighborhood character would be where you find probably consistency with the plan of conservation development on
Right,
this.
but this lot here will remain I-1.
Yes, because that's outside the family. That's someone else.
And
You
interesting,
know, that's to reduce the industrial zone that much. I mean, what the POCD talks about encouraging business, maybe a larger business could offer to buy them all out.
Well, the most interesting argument I've heard is I think we should do whatever we can to get rid of nonconformities.
Mhm.
I think that's a general policy of the town by one way, not just to close your eyes and pretend they aren't there, but to get rid of them so that they aren't a complication for God knows what in the future, and that other people can't point at them and say, well, what about that guy? So that argument kind of rings to me as a reason to go for this.
Now, interestingly enough, the property card for 34 Hoskins shows that it is an R15 zone. So there's an inconsistency between the town records.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately with the assessor's data, it doesn't always match up with our zoning map. The zoning map is what dictates the district designation of a property.
Okay.
We're trying to reconcile that issue right now with our GIS server.
So it was never zoned residential and then became industrial?
Not that I'm aware of.
I can't make it out too much, but that house that's on the corner, the entrance on the eastern entrance to Cambridge Court.
This one right here.
Yeah, that one. Is that
Yeah.
R15?
I don't have the GIS.
I can't tell.
I don't have it up.
That's an interesting house. Somebody's got that in pieces there. Or it's in pieces and they're trying to put it back together. I'm not sure. I'd like to see the neighborhood have a chance to improve itself.
It looks like that house may be in the workforce housing overlay zone.
It is.
Ah,
It was part of the original application for Cambridge Crossing back in 2015.
Yep. Well, and then this one here is currently the I-1,
Just for, okay.
but it's a different owner, right?
Yep.
Have we had any okay, has this gone to the, it went to the zoning commission, right? And then it was referred right to us?
Yep.
All right. Well, it's not our job to determine if the neighbors are unhappy about this. That's a zoning commission
Yep.
ability. I don't see any conflicts with the POCD in what's been applied for.
I don't either.
I don't either.
It's kind of fishy, but I don't think that's our purview. So I'll make a motion to return a positive referral to zoning application number 20-04, citing no conflicts with the POCD.
Second.
Who's the second?
Craig.
Craig. Okay. Sorry.
Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions, please say I abstain. Okay, the motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Okay, stop share. Next application, number 20-06. So this was a late amendment to the
Yeah.
to the agenda. I'm not even sure I saw the application.
So we have the regulations uploaded, the new proposed changes, along with the cheat sheet going with it. We didn't get a chance to upload the application with it.
Okay.
This is hot off the press from the zoning commission.
Yeah.
We forwarded it last night to you.
When do they need a response?
They have a public hearing scheduled for May 18th. So if you want to take time to look at this, we have time for this referral. There's not a rush. Maybe, Mr. Chairman, if you want, I could just do a quick overview for the commission.
Yeah, please do, Mike.
So this is part of the regulation rewrite reorganization project that we've been working on now for the past year, or actually 18 months. I'll just go over, there's the brief thing on the cheat sheet, what this is and what this is not. Okay. One of the things is we went through the regulations, looked at certain areas that either are not allowed by by case law or just really are dated. For example, prohibited uses, that section has been removed from the regulations because we have permissive regs. If the use is not stated in the regs, it's not allowed anyway, so you don't have to create a section of what's not allowed. Another example is the I-3 zoning district. Those regulations have been removed. There is no I-3 zoning district anymore. The only parcel in town that's still zoned I-3 is the Kitchener Quarry, which is open space. Another example of things that we took out, the aquifer overlay zoning regulations. We have an aquifer protection ordinance, which is authorized by Connecticut Deep. The zoning regulations were never authorized by Deep. According to state law, if your regulations were not authorized by Deep, you cannot regulate aquifer protection via zoning regulations. You can only use their state-approved ordinance along with the level A mapping. That's just a few areas. Then just to talk about a few sections that have been changed. One is the site plan requirements. We added some extensive language in the site plan requirements, kind of just codifying what the zoning regulation is doing as it relates to submittal requirements, landscaping. The other thing is that we added was beefing up the special exception criteria. Right now, the criteria, the zoning regulations for approving a special exception is somewhat discretionary. We're trying to get it so it's less discretionary, more measurable. That's what this new regulation has. We discussed administrative permits. So one of the changes in this reg is, say you have a use that's allowed in the zoning district and you want to expand. For example, it's a business zone and it's a business that wants to expand and it doesn't require a substantial expansion of the building or doesn't require substantial changes to the site. That will be handled by staff now to speed up the process. The other thing we added was stormwater management requirements, which we are mandated by our MS4 stormwater permit, along with the erosion sediment control measure regulations. We are required to have that by state law. That's something that we're actually a year behind, and we need to put this in. The last new section is agro-tourism regulations. The Zoning Commission spent a while developing agro-tourism regulations to kind of give some of the farms in town the ability to do some of the activities that they are doing, but give them a safe haven and a permitting structure to allow this with taking consideration of the impacts that some of these uses may have as it relates to the abutting neighborhoods and properties. The one other section it's an existing section that was modified pretty substantially is the home occupation section. We had several robust conversations about what is a home occupation, what is appropriate, what is not, and how to handle the home occupations. And now you see in the proposed regulations more of a detailed structure of what's considered as of right, what needs a permit, and what is not. There's some clear lines defining on what is not considered a home occupation. The other thing what we did was, as part of the rewrite, is we took 50 pages out of the regs by reorganizing the section of the regulations and doing things such as using of charts to see what uses are permitted or specially permitted in the zoning district. Really, we're trying to improve how these regulations read and accessibility, kind of similar to what this commission did when you updated the POCD. So that's it. I think, as Bill said, this is a kind of large document, and it may benefit in the commission taking a look at this and maybe voting on this or making a recommendation at your next meeting, because this is, was added to your agenda late, and it's a pretty large document.
Yeah, I think let's put it on the agenda for the next meeting, the 28th.
The 28th would be your next meeting.
But we'll be able to see the proposed changes as they compare to the current regs somehow?
Well, so the structure of the current regs is completely different than what this new structure is.
So what you're going to send us then is some discussion of what's different.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
And with the specific language that's proposed.
yeah, the draft of the regs are in the box.
Yep.
Okay.
You have the new reg. So just one thing. So there's two sections that we did not tackle because that's our next project. One, and Alan, you're going to love hearing this, is the pad regs.
Just going to ask about that.
We are going to tackle that separate. We did not want to intertwine this project with the pad regulations because the pad regulations, it's a larger project, and they really need a second look.
Yes.
Based on some of the things that we've seen that have been built via the pad regulations. So the other is the sign regulations. That's something we did not tackle with this. The sign regulations need to be examined too. But I did not want to put those two projects in with this reorganization project because I think it would have lost a lot of momentum and steam with this reorg. This reorg is going to vastly improve the readability of these regulations.
And your discussion of this is going to be sent to us soon?
Yes.
Okay.
I can upload a few other. I can upload more documents, so I can share those for the next meeting with the commission.
Good.
Okay, so our homework is to go to the box, look at the proposed, or I'll call them draft regulations, and then we'll take it up in our next meeting. All right, sounds like a lot of progress has been made there, Mike.
We've been busy.
Yep. Very good. Okay, so we're gonna not take any action on application 20-06 tonight. Next item, Plan of Conservation and Development update. If you remember at our last meeting, which was about a month ago, we kind of gave Mike some direction to draft up a sustainable or affordable housing plan for the town of Simsbury, based on some loose guidance that we gave him, drawing from a number of other towns' affordable housing plan. And Mike has produced a document, which I must say is eye-catching. Okay, I like the way it looks. I haven't read it in detail, but maybe you can highlight some of the parts for us, Mike. You want to share that?
Yeah. Let me. And I apologize if let me just upload. Or actually, let me pull it off my email, and then I'll share it with everyone. Because I uploaded to Dropbox, and the format was a little skewed. Just make sure this loads, that's all.
Are you you're going to share it with us, Mike?
Yeah, the draft plan that Bill's referencing was uploaded to the Dropbox. But I'll pull it up for the group. Let me just.
Now I can't find you guys.
Let me do this. Okay. So here is the affordable housing, and I'm sorry, it's the formatting is a little skewed going from the Word document from Google. So long and short of it, I kind of followed the structure of Essex and Salisbury, and as the chairman noted, kind of left out the word for word snippets of 830G, but I wanted to at least capture a few in the first couple pages. 830G, how the calculation looks for the 80% area median income based on the number of people living in the house. All that information is from HUD income limits, which is readily available. Then below, what's the maximum housing costs. And I wanted to put this in this plan just so that, here's a clear understanding. So what does it mean to be affordable? It means that, you have a family of 4, you live in the West Hartford Metro, you should be able to afford a home to be considered affordable of $1,953 on housing costs. Then, as I said, I just really wanted to not get too deep in the weeds, but talk about, some of the census data that was available. It's a little dated, obviously, because we're waiting for the 2020 census to be updated, but going back to the 2000 census and then the interim in the 2011, 2015, kind of points out to how the housing market has grown in Simsbury. For example, in 2000, the median housing price value was, in 2018 is $328,608, which is a 45% increase from 2000. So it clearly shows, you have a housing stock, although it may not be affordable, it's a healthy housing stock here. Mm-hmm. Then I went through, this is from the Department of Housing. What exactly is the Department of Housing showing for our affordability numbers as determined by 830G? And these are the current numbers from the 2019 Affordable Appeals List. And you can see we're not at 2%, but we're at 4.7% according to their numbers. But I want to point out their deed restrictions. They did not give us credit for the 18 deed restricted units yet at Aspen Green, because we have 18 deed restriction units there. So
how about Climax?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the other thing. So Climax, this list came out before this was Climax was out of the court system and approved.
Okay, so that's
Climax would also, that will go into that list eventually too. So, and then I just, once again, just reiterating the fact that, from income level, family of 4, you need to be making $78,320. And that's going for 30% of your income. Just put it on the table about what it means to have a temporary 4-year moratorium. So then this is where I'm looking for input and guidance from the commission. So I took some of the comments that we made and kind of looked at the latest conservation plan of conservation and development, and I picked some of the goals that were housing related, specific to affordable housing or diversifying the housing stock in Simsbury, along with some of the comments. So you see some of the things, the housing diversity objective goals. Those are right out of your POCD. I also wanted to point out, an example of another affordable development in town. They receive different funding sources, such as federal, state. So the MS facility, Ojakium Commons at Dorset Crossing, as an example of affordable housing. Then I got into, how are we going to meet these goals? Because we have these goals, and one of the things that we discussed as a commission, and if I misheard it, I can always take this out of this plan, was considering, affordable units in the center of town. 8-2I of the General State Statutes, what's known as inclusionary zoning, allows the towns to develop regulations that mandate a certain percentage of the development is set aside as affordable housing. It would make sense to have affordable housing in an area, one, gives the ability of walkability to the downtown, but two, near mass transit, because if you think of it, you have the buses available at the commuter lots. Mm-hmm. It just becomes, I'm looking at the young working professional as someone who could be that group making $78,000 or less that would be looking for affordable housing. I also brought up an idea that I know that the chairman, you discussed, ways to get it to achieve affordable housing. One other thing is the Small Cities Grant Program. Believe it or not, in my research, I just found out that The town of Simsbury had a housing rehab program that went from 1984 to 1990 for Terrafill. These were low-interest loans available to individuals making 80% or less of the area median income. It's a HUD funded program. We have program income on it. And HUD requires now, when you do take these loans, is that as part of the kind of stick with it, is that you get approved for the loans, but you also put a deed restriction on your property that it'll be an affordable unit for 30 years. So it's another avenue, and that helps maybe the comment of distressed properties, I think is what we discussed at the meeting. It's an idea. The Simsbury Housing Authority in the past had an approval for an expansion. Maybe could be we look at a way to find funding for their expansion to assist, to add more units. Ed's got, as he told us, he's got a waiting. He's running a full occupancy up there. He has a waiting list, which is it's nice to hear that he's offering that housing option for people. One of the things in your plan of conservation development also spoke to was looking at multifamily housing, maybe by special permit in some areas. It just gives, once again, it's going into that whole concept of how can we diversify our housing stock, and with the intentions of promoting more affordable housing in town. And I'm just grabbing it right out of the POCD, so it's not.
Yeah.
This isn't Mike Glidden writing these. The last one, I'm sorry, didn't save here. I had it on this page, was tax sales. Consider developing a policy for tax sales, kind of what we discussed with the Mountain Road property.
Mm-hmm.
So to go with distressed properties is that when we have tax sales, we should develop a policy that, listen, when the town sells a property that's taken by a tax foreclosure, we can't make a profit. We can only recover or recoup the cost of the taxes and back taxes that are owed. So for, Mountain Road was a great example where we sold that property for, I think it was a building lot that was less than $30,000. That's when you're selling property like that, maybe that's where we consider also that as part of it, if it's under a certain threshold number, we could say under $200,000, you should have a deed restriction on it that it's an affordable unit.
Do you think
Because
it's scalable like that?
You will have people that it's saleable. I mean, I could say that you have a market for affordable units, even deed restricted affordable units. Because look at Hendrick's Cottage over on Climax Road. Mm-hmm. He sold 3 affordable units. So you have people out there that are looking for these affordable units to own a home. So
do you think a realtor would help a customer identify a place like that? I mean, I'm just thinking about how somebody with moderate income would know to look for a thing like that. You know what I'm saying? If I thought I'd like a more affordable house, would I know where to go to find more affordable houses? For example, if the town had that as a deed restriction on a house that was foreclosed on for taxes, would somebody in the public know that? How would they know that?
So at the time of the tax sale, that would be part of the conditions of sales.
Okay. So, all right.
So, Alan, maybe another way that I would respond to your question is once we get the affordable housing plan completed, maybe we invite in some realtors or people who interact with home buyers and make them aware of the possibilities.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's a good idea.
And once we have something to hang our hat on, then we can go forward with that. Mike, I like it. I like it a lot.
Good work.
Thank you.
Yep.
So I'm envisioning the next few pages is kind of developing a roadmap to start saying, so who's responsible for what, similar to
Yeah, hold on a second, Mike. We lost you. I can't read his lips.
I don't think he can hear us either.
Mike,
Well, he's,
Does anybody read lips?
I can read lips, and Bill, you're not going to
something
like what he's
person-
saying.
Oh, you got me?
yeah, you're back.
I'm sorry.
we lost
I
you.
gotta get the computer closer. The next section of the plan that I want to work on is one is partnerships, identifying organizations or individuals that could partner with affordable housing developments. The other is a roadmap and kind of our hierarchy of the goals and objectives of this plan with, let's say, here's goal 1, 2, 3, who's responsible for implementing it, when do we think we can implement it, like a due date. So kind of similar to the POCD.
Mhm.
And I think that would be, that would pretty much get us a plan.
So, okay, does it need to be submitted to any organizations outside of the town?
No, but I wanted to share it once I get a little further along with Ed LaMontagne
Okay.
to make sure to get his buy-in with the housing authority.
So, Mike, if the affordable housing plan is a statutory requirement, is that true?
Yes. So from the state perspective, we have to submit it to OPM just like we submit our POCD.
Okay, that's where I was going.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
I thought you meant outside like other organ. Okay.
No,
And CROG,
regulating.
CROG
No CROG.
doesn't have anything to do with this?
No CROG, but I probably will. I'll share it with them so they're aware of it, that we have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Very good. Yeah, okay. Continue on with it, Mike.
Okay.
I'm
I'm going to shoot for probably our second meeting in May to have, get to a 90% complete.
Okay.
So,
I like some of the numbers. I understand the risk that goes with that. Those numbers as far as incomes and monthly costs. They'll. How often is the area median income updated?
it's yearly.
Okay.
So we'll have new numbers.
Yeah,
Low.
but I think it's good because everyone talks about affordable housing, and this is going to be a nice, quick way to show people. Here's what it means.
Hmm.
Great.
Yeah, with the details easily understood. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
People will be copying ours now, Mike.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You have to be a trendsetter.
Now, Mike, I know you're probably trying to, keep this, somewhat succinct, I think, were the instructions that we gave you. But do we talk about the 60% anywhere? Okay, so we're talking about the 80% situation. There is that 60% as well.
Do you want me to put the 60% in there? Because I can get those numbers from the HUD income limits, but the focus of the statute is on the 80 percentile.
We do have a lot of people that are at the 60.
Well, an 8-30G has to have some 60% in it too, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So, yeah, why don't you please add that? The
Okay.
same type of table you did for the 80
I will.
should be easy enough.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good. Very good. All right. Commissioners, any comments to Mike's draft?
I thought it was a great first draft.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah,
I thought he was done.
Very good.
What?
I thought he was done. Print it.
It's past the draft, I think. It's good.
Well, he's got some things to add, so technically it's a draft.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so I guess between now and the second meeting in May, Mike's targeting to have something. Mike, will you accept comments from the commissioners?
Yes. I ask if anyone has any comments or concerns or edits, just email me directly. And yes, I would like to incorporate any input from the commission.
Sounds good.
What document do you want us to use to make the edits and comments on?
Why don't we use the Word document that's uploaded to your Dropbox? That's
Okay.
the latest version.
Okay.
Yeah, just change the name of it, right? If you make a change, put your name somewhere in the file name.
Roger.
And track changes. That's what you're referring to, Rich?
Yeah, you'll need track changes is the easy way to make the commentary.
I agree. Excellent. Okay. Mike, I don't see a correspondence item on the agenda, but is there any correspondence we need to be made aware of?
No, just one thing is that a draft of the Parks and Open Space Master Plan has been completed. I don't know if it's been shared yet. As soon as it's public consumption, I will share with the commission if anyone's interested.
Yeah, sure. Put it on the box.
Okay, I will.
Mike, did you see Holly's note?
No. Oh, she got
There we go.
booted. We losing?
Thank you.
Now she's back.
Yeah, someone dialed my phone and kicked me right off.
Oh,
Okay. I don't know if people have been driving up on Route 10 going north through town. The Big Y seems to be coming along.
I watched the meeting about that.
Which one was that, Aaron?
Well, they were talking about the Big Y.
Who was?
It was on TV. Michael, it looked like some people were on conference call, and it was around the facade, of the store.
yeah, it was the zoning commission design review
Oh,
Yeah.
reviewed the signage for the development.
Yeah.
And their target date, at least this prior COVID-19, was October 1 to open up,
Wow.
which even with our current environment, they're still on target.
Wow. And Whole Foods is marching along in Avon, too.
And I think Aldi and Canton, right?
That's correct.
Do we know when that's opening?
I don't know. I don't know about Canton.
Just curious.
Mike, any updates on the Andes property?
Nothing to report other than that the dry cleaner demolition's proceeding.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So if you sooner or later that building's going to be gone. They did utility disconnects and they're working along on demolition, but no developments to talk about repurposing the building or any sort of tenants yet.
Is there a lot of cleanup there because it was a dry cleaner? There was an issue there 15, 20 years ago, I remember, something.
Maybe asbestos around the boiler or something?
No,
Yeah,
it's the
that-
chemical
that's-
they use if they drop it into the ground.
Oh.
It goes through the concrete like water through sand.
Are they doing remediation on the soil there?
They had a clean bill of health from a licensed environmental professional, but I don't want to speak to how it will proceed because they'll have the appropriate licensed environmental professionals present during the demolition process.
Got it.
Yep, they must be ready to go because they have a fence around it and like a little excavator. Okay. Very good, Mike. Thank you. Commissioners, any other comments, questions?
All set?
I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Aaron makes the motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
I second.
Rich Cortez seconds the motion. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. Meeting's adjourned at 8:29.